Are you sometimes in the mood for something sweet? Just at that moment. You don't want to be baking in your kitchen all day. You don't want that sweet dessert in your kitchen all week. You just want a little something to curb that sweet craving and then get on with life. This is the perfect thing. It's called a mug cake. So you have just one small serving, you make it in about 3 minutes, and then you enjoy it. The craving is gone, and on top of everything else, it is gluten-free. It is no sugar. It is vegan. It is not going to ruin your diet. So let's get on. It only takes a few minutes, and before you know it, you're enjoying a delicious cake. And hi, I'm so glad you're here. I'm Carolyn, and this channel is all about just hanging out with a bunch of girlfriends and just having a good time. We do a little bit of everything, but I'll tell you what, if there's one thing I am passionate about, okay, 2 things. It's nutrition and fitness. I want to live longer. I do not want to die longer. That is the mission statement of my channel. I just believe that taking care of our bodies is really going to help us age so much better. So if you have not yet subscribed, I would love it if you would. We are trying to build this community to just support and just be there to just encourage and love each other. So subscribe, hit the bell so you can be reminded that every Wednesday and Saturday we're hanging out, because that's what girlfriends do. Okay, let's get on to our mug cake. So this is something you're making just for you. It makes one. So there's gonna be almond flour. There's sweetener of your choice, any kind of granular sweetener. I'm going to use monk fruit, then some cacao powder, baking powder. You can or cannot add some baking chips. I use the Lily's. There's no added sugar. And I use the dark one, which is why it is vegan. And then I'm going to use some almond milk and then some almond butter. There's no egg in this either, which of course adds to it being vegan. So let's start by putting the dry ingredients in this little cereal bowl. This is going to be what we're going to bake our cake in. So I am going to just give it a little spray with Pam. I know Pam is not the best, but we're just doing quick, whatever is going to be the quickest. So I have that, and I'm actually going to use this as my bowl as well, because I want the least amount of mess humanly possible. So first we can just mix up the dry ingredients. So we have 2 tablespoons of almond flour, we have 1 tablespoon of sweetener. We have 1 tablespoon of cacao powder. 1/8 of a teaspoon of baking powder. Give that a little mixy mix. Then 1 tablespoon of almond butter. Get something that's creamy, and I'm going to put that right into our baking dish. And then 3 tablespoons of milk of your choice, and my choice is almond milk. And if you are interested in another really great recipe for a dessert, check out my chia seed pudding. It's so good, so good. I'm telling you, it's not only okay to eat, it's actually good for you. So that's like the best. When you can like indulge in something and you're treating your body well and feeding your body good food, that's kind of a big win. In my opinion, that's kind of a big win. All right, so this is not blending up super like, you know, it's still choppy because almond butter is a little hard to really blend all together. But you know what? I'm just gonna be okay with it. And as long as it's basically coming together, I'm gonna add in my dry ingredients. And then mix that up again. So there you go, you've got a little batter. Now here you can add chocolate chips, which I have my Lily's chocolate chips here ready to go. Or if you're kind of more a nut person, you could add in some chopped nuts. I'm gonna put in a tablespoon of my chocolate chips. Give it one more little stirry stir. Give it a little spread. Make sure it's kind of even. And that is it. So now what do? You take it and you stick it in the microwave. So I'm gonna start by putting it in for 30-second intervals. Doing the 30 seconds is good because everybody's microwave is a little different. So until you really know how long it needs to be in there, if you're doing this on a sort of regular basis, you'll immediately know, like it takes a minute. It's not gonna take really more than that. Now it's been in there twice for 30 seconds. So let's do our math, that's a minute. And it's looking pretty good. So it's still, I don't even need to do the toothpick thing. I know that it needs to be in there for another 30 seconds. So I'm just gonna put it in again and do another 30 seconds. So now it has been a minute and a half, and this is good. I'll do the little, but there's chocolate chips in there too. So, it might come out a little wet, but it's fine. We are good to go. You don't have to wait. You don't have to do anything. You can just dig right in, and you got yourself some chocolate cake that is so delicious. Is gonna just end that sugar craving, and then there's no leftovers. You're just gonna eat that and you're good to go. But maybe you're saying, Carolyn, I love chocolate, but I want a little dessert after dinner. And if I eat caffeine after dinner, I'm gonna be up all night. No worries, I got your back, boo. But this is not vegan. This one has cream cheese in it and it has an egg. So what you're gonna need for this is some cream cheese. And I will tell you that your best bet is to stick it in the microwave for just a little bit so that you can get like this sort of consistency so that it's a lot easier to mix. And you just need a little bowl. And this is also nice because you can share. This is gonna make two. I have these smaller ramekins that I'm going to grease with a little bit of coconut oil. I'm just gonna take some parchment paper, a little bit of parchment paper, a little bit of coconut oil on my parchment paper, and I'm just gonna grease my ramekin. And you can use whatever you want to grease it. You can use butter, you can use a spray, whatever is good for you. You just want it to be able to come out easily. So you can just set those aside. And then the other thing you're gonna want is 1 teaspoon of lemon zest and half a teaspoon of lemon juice. So let me do that. So 1 teaspoon is not very much. I'm just gonna squeeze it into this measuring cup, and then whatever I don't need in this recipe, I'm gonna put on my salad for dinner. So all I have to do now is put everything together. So I already have my 5 ounces of cream cheese. I weighed it on my scale because I had 8 ounces. Half of 8 ounces is only 4, so just to make sure I got it right, I put it on my scale. But I think it has lines if you want to do it that way, just as easy. And now I'm going to put my lemon zest in there. I didn't actually measure it. They say a teaspoon of lemon zest. I just did 1 lemon and called it a day. And now half a teaspoon of lemon juice. I've got a ton left over from my salad. 1 egg. Half a teaspoon of vanilla. And then you just give it a little mixy mix until there are no lumps and everything comes together. It looks a little bit like a hot mess right here. It just takes a little mixing. You can use a whisk if you prefer, but my cream cheese is nice and soft. Just like I said, I stuck it in the microwave for, like a few seconds. You don't want to put it in for too long, but just enough to make it so that it's not going to be so hard to mix it up and get rid of all those lumps. And another thing you might want to do, I don't think it's necessary, but if you want to whisk up the egg before you put it in there, that also makes it a little easier to all mix together. But I like to use as least amount of bowls as possible. And there you have, that's what you're gonna look for, that it just looks. You've got it nice and smooth. I would add in your powdered sweetener. I use Swerve. I will list all the things that I use. Most of them I just get off Amazon really easy. I mean, outside of the cream cheese, but 2 tablespoons of powdered sweetener of your choice. And then just mix. I would also say that you need to make sure that your egg is room temperature if you want it to mix in without the lumps, without the problems of it lumping up. But if you're like me and you just decide you feel like a little something sweet and you didn't have time to get your egg to room temperature, all I do is I just put it in a little bowl and I put some warm water on it, and I mean, within 20 seconds is good to go. So now it's time to pour it into the bowls. So I definitely prefer this one over the chocolate. I mean, it's not like I hate chocolate, but it's not my go-to. Chocolate would never be like my last meal request. I like things that are more on the, well, first of all, I'm definitely savory. Give me savory all day long. Give me a slice of fresh bread and a thick smear of butter. I'm a very happy girl, but I don't do that very often. That is a very big treat. Okay, so there they are. Can you see that? They are pretty evenly dispersed. So now I'm gonna put them in the microwave, but one at a time. So I'm gonna start with just one, and I'll put it in again in increments of 30 seconds. And you want the top to kind of look glossy and still a little jiggly. You don't want it to be completely solid, because cheesecake, you still want there to be a little jiggle in it. That's how you know it's done. There's still a little jiggle going on. So I want to show you this up close because it's pretty important that you see. There is too much jiggle in there after 30 seconds. So definitely you want it to look a little firmer than that. It's coming away from the sides, and that's good, but you still want the middle to be a little less jiggly. So let's put it in for another 30 seconds.
Okay, so now I would say we're good to go. It's a little hot when you touch it, but it's still got a little jiggle, but we're gonna be good with 1 minute.
And cheesecake is one of those things where it's really good cooled. So first of all, you want it to sit for about a minute for sure. You can eat it warm if you want to, but it's really good if you stick it in the fridge for a little bit and just help it to really settle and get nice and cold. So here comes the best part. 2 ways to eat them, straight out of the ramekin. That is going to be my choice. I just add my toppings right in there and I go at it. If you want it to be all fancy, then just drop it onto a plate. Out she comes. And then I have this berry puree that I made. I just sweeten it with a little bit of sweetener, but it's basically just berries that I put on the stove and softened. So I'm gonna put that on top, or you can just add some berries of your choice, and then you dig in. And that's the good part. So let me pull out my chocolate cake. I'm gonna have both. It's a fancy day for Carolyn. So let me dig in. Okay, so it's super good, but let me tell you, I didn't let it fully cool. I think, and if that's your jiggy and you like a warm cheesecake, God bless. I think that it's better cold. So I'm gonna save that and make sure it gets really nice and cold, and then I'm going to enjoy it. Now my chocolate cake, which is good warm, has cooled, but I will try it anyways. It's so fudgy. If you like that really fudgy chocolate, you're gonna like it. If you want it a little more cakey, I would leave out the chocolate chips. But that is full of flavor, full of chocolate goodness, and you are not gonna feel deprived when you eat that. And guess what? After you have your, and it's actually really, there's enough, you can share it. I could have put it in 2 little ramekins because there's plenty there for 2. So there you go, 2 easy peasy desserts that are, number 1, not gonna break your diet. Number 2, going to be so delicious. Number 3, it's gonna take care of that sweet tooth that you're just like driving you crazy. Like, I don't want to eat sugar, but I have that sweet tooth. It's just gonna take care of it without the sugar. And then you can go on with your life and not feel deprived. Life is too short to feel deprived. We need to enjoy the food we eat, but just not eat bad food. We want to eat good food, good quality that is healing and making our body strong, but we don't want to compromise on flavor. Absolutely not. This girl likes to eat. So that's all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I'll talk to you later. Bye.